The calendar turns, and the royal year enters its most symbolic season. Christmas at Sandringham isn't just a tradition, it's a ritual. Carefully choreographed, steeped in legacy, and photographed for the world to see. Each guest, each appearance, each walk to church tells a story, not just of holiday spirit, but of royal favor. And this year, the silence is louder than any carol. The names not invited say more than those who attend, because this December, if reports are accurate, two familiar figures, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, will not be at the King's Christmas table. Not at Sandringham, not in the photographs, not in the narrative of continuity the monarchy works so hard to preserve. Before we begin, there's something you should know. Many of you return to these stories again and again, watching closely, asking questions, piecing together the deeper themes behind the crown. But still, you haven't subscribed. If you value this unfolding journey, take a moment now. Subscribe to Crownverse, where royal history lives on, even in its quietest, coldest moments. King Charles's first Christmas as monarch was one of transition. Last year, still shadowed by the recent death of Queen Elizabeth II, the family gathered in quiet unity. Photographs were formal, tones were subdued. There was no room for friction, only continuity. But that was then. This year, reports suggest a firmer hand, a Christmas list not of tradition, but of strategy. According to insiders speaking to the press, though no official statement has confirmed it, Andrew and Fergie are not invited. And this absence may mark more than seasonal reshuffling. It may be the clearest sign yet of Charles's boundaries. To understand why, we must step back. Prince Andrew, once referred to in court circles as the Queen's favorite, has spent the last few years moving in shadows. After his association with Jeffrey Epstein was brought into full public view, followed by a legal settlement with Virginia Giuffre, and the loss of his military titles, Andrew has not returned to public duty. The king made clear early in his reign that there would be no restoration of roles. Andrew would remain in the background. But family, as ever, complicates monarchy. Despite his fall from grace, Andrew still resides at Royal Lodge, still shares family occasions, still walks with the group, smiles for cameras, and attends private family services. His presence, though muted, remains, and within that presence, unease brews, not just among the public, but within the firm. Enter Sarah Ferguson. The Duchess of York, though long divorced from Andrew, has remained his close companion, often referred to as his unofficial partner. The two live together, travel together, appear at weddings and royal events side by side. And yet, Fergie's role is even more complicated. She is not technically royal, she holds no title in the working sense, and yet her proximity to Andrew pulls her into the vortex of royal judgment. In recent months, Sarah has attempted a public return of sorts, launching a podcast, attending charitable events, and sharing moments of reflection about the Queen and her place in royal history. But these efforts, while sympathetic in tone, have not softened the lines Charles appears ready to draw. The idea of excluding both Andrew and Sarah from Christmas is not on its own an official declaration. But in monarchy, optics are everything. The Sandringham Christmas gathering is a photo opportunity layered with symbolism, one that shows the monarch's vision of family and future. To be excluded is not just to be absent, it is to be uninvited from the narrative. For Charles, this decision, if true, reveals something deeper than logistics. It suggests a king aware of the monarchy's fragility, aware that association equals complicity, and unwilling to allow scandal, however subdued, to remain within the frame of tradition. This is not cruelty, it is calculation. The Queen, during her reign, often sheltered family members under the blanket of tradition. Andrew's roles were preserved longer than some believed appropriate. Fergie, though rarely present, was never fully dismissed. Elizabeth's style was rooted in endurance, in waiting, in hoping that time could smooth over embarrassment. But Charles is not his mother. His reign has already signaled a shift toward definition. Who is in? Who is out? What royal means and what it must no longer accommodate. By excluding Andrew from Christmas, Charles draws a line that is both personal and institutional. A father may still care for his son, but a king must protect the crown. There are whispers, of course, of dissent. Some say the decision has sparked pain, not outrage, but sorrow. That Andrew, still seeing himself as loyal to the institution, believes he deserves a place at the table. That Sarah, ever the survivor, had hoped for a quiet reintegration, and sees this as a door closed. But the crown does not move on emotion alone, and for William, whose generation will inherit not just the throne, but the public's trust, this exclusion may be a test, a chance to show that royal duty now means accountability. The public's tolerance has changed. Scandal is no longer managed with silence. It is dissected, discussed, replayed in real time. Every appearance, every grouping, every guest list becomes a signal. And if Andrew is present, the monarchy is complicit. If Sarah is welcomed, the door to past chaos remains ajar. So Charles closes it, not with a statement, not with disgrace, but with omission. And yet, questions remain. Is this a permanent shift, or a one-season gesture? Will Andrew remain behind the gates of Royal Lodge, quietly protected but publicly absent? Will Sarah continue her slow rebranding, podcasting from the periphery, offering anecdotes but not access? And what does this mean for other royals walking similar lines? Beatrice and Eugenie, Andrew and Sarah's daughters, remain invited, according to reports. Their presence shows a division of judgment, that the sins of the father or the uncertainty of the mother do not necessarily extend to the next generation. But it also signals something else, that the royal family can separate roles from relationships, that love may remain, but function requires distance. This is monarchy in motion, a crown that has outlived empires, survived divorces, abdications, affairs, and indictments, but still understands that its future rests on perception. In this perception, Andrew cannot return, Sarah cannot coast, and Charles, however gently, must say no. For those watching from outside, the press, the public, the skeptics, and loyalists alike, this Christmas will look like many before it. Red coats, black boots, polite nods to the clergy. But beneath the surface, the absence will speak louder. There will be no photograph of Andrew behind the king, no Sarah laughing beside the queen, no sign that the past has been quietly forgiven. Only space, deliberate, symbolic, and necessary. As the carol says, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight, and this year, for the Windsors, those fears are clearer than ever. Not of collapse, but of contamination. Not of drama, but of erosion. Because a single presence, captured in a photograph, shared across headlines, interpreted by millions, can undo months of quiet progress. So the seats remain empty, not because there is no room, but because the room is being redefined. For Charles, this Christmas is not about exclusion, it is about clarity, about drawing a border between the crown and the controversy, between the institution and the individuals
who once threatened it. And in that clarity, the monarchy moves forward, quieter, colder, but perhaps stronger. Because sometimes, in order to preserve tradition, you must let go of those who broke it. If you followed this story, if you watched the small moves that shape royal destiny, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here on Crownverse, where royal history lives on, even in its quietest, coldest moments.